Capricorn, Sun, Moon and Rising, here is your tarot reading for the week ahead. As I always say, please take what's helpful, leave what isn't. Always get the messages to fit into your life and never get your life to fit around the messages. But hopefully some inspiring and insightful guidance coming up here. This week for a lot of the star signs has proven really challenging. There's lots here about uncertainty, not sure of what steps to take next, a little bit of self-doubt creeping up for people. We're moving into Pisces season, so a lot of it being reflected in that, but also just across the board, there is quite a lot of uncertainty going around. So we're going to feel that on a global scale, but also on a local scale too. What is really nice to see here, however, is you probably have the most upright cards of all the readings that I've done this far. There have been a lot of reversals. Reversals aren't necessarily bad within the tarot, but it's usually a symbol that there's either too much energy or too little energy of that particular archetype that it's trying to represent. The fact that you've got all of these upright cards indicates that you're probably going to feel more centered than most other people would. Before I even lay the cards down, I had a sense, I had a feeling that, okay, Capricorn, ironically, might be able to navigate some of the challenges that Pisces season is bringing us. And it's not to say that they're not there for you, but that is to say that you're perhaps a little better equipped on knowing how to deal with it. Part of this is born out of one of the main pieces of advice that the tarot seems to be bringing through for people this week is about spontaneity and play and lightness and fun and not taking things too seriously, being able to laugh in the face of adversity. I say this in part because you've got the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands coming through here. Pages are an interesting part of the royals here, because in some ways it shows an immaturity, unlike the king, which is the most developed and the most reconciled of its suit. But the plus side of the pages is that there is the enthusiasm and excitement of the neophyte, of the ingenue, of somebody just starting out. You know, sometimes if we find a new hobby or we find a new artist that we really like, a musical artist that we really like, or we discover a cool new restaurant, we get really excited about it and we throw ourselves into it. And this is what the two pages are representing here. And in some ways, it's like, particularly with the Page of Cups is a very spontaneous card. It's the world of imagination. It is very linked with that world of Pisces. And there's a sense of you being able to tap into these more illusionary aspects, or these more dreamlike and kind of ethereal aspects that we're seeing with Pisces, but in a fun way. You're just kind of rolling with it. And what I mean by that is, in some ways, not taking things too seriously, but also allowing this playfulness to come through, allowing yourself to kind of go, okay, maybe I don't know exactly what's going on or what's happening or what's coming up next. And that's okay. I don't need to take myself too seriously. I don't need to take circumstances around me too seriously. And we've got the Seven of Cups here in reverse, opening your reading. And interestingly enough, the Seven of Cups reversed tends to be more positively aspected rather than upright. Upright, it's the Lord of illusionary success. It's often about confusion, not knowing which way to go, which cup to choose, and being under this cloud of illusion, of misconceptions. The fact that that is reversed indicates that you're able to not only embrace this Piscean energy of illusion and think, okay, well, we're never quite certain, let's see what comes up, but also actually being able to see through the reality of things as well. So it's really, you may find that some clarity comes up for you this week, some answers that have been eluding you up until this point come through. There is a big encouragement with that Page of Cups, with that Page of Wands energy, with that clarity, with that illumination, to allow yourself to be experimental, to try to test the waters, to dip your toe, really, and accept that we don't necessarily have to be perfect at everything. And what I'm really pleased to see here, Capricorn, is that sometimes it can be prone to not necessarily perfectionism, but wanting to do it right and really kind of pushing down and having to do and taking things perhaps a little bit too seriously. Actually, I feel that this Piscean energy is going to do you lots of favors because it's just going to lift. It's going to lift your mood. It's going to lift you feeling, do you know what? I'm actually going to approach things with a sense of exploration and with a sense of lightheartedness and with a sense of experimentation. Did I say that already? Possibly. But rather than it's gotta be exactly like this and fit into a tight box. This is something that I'm really, really pleased to see for you, Capricorn. We have then perhaps the only kind of fly in the ointment, but even this, ironically, I'm kind of going, well, this is great. Your attitude towards this card is likely to be very, very positive because we have the Five of Pentacles, the Lord of Poverty. It's normally about chaos, and particularly chaos in terms of the material world. One thing that has been absolutely fascinating this week is that all of the pentacles that have arrived, and pretty much in every reading that I've done across the 12 star signs, has been coming up reversed. Slightly unsurprising. In some ways, it is quite unsurprising given the odds of that happening, but unsurprising in so much as we are moving to this slightly more watery, illusionary, dreamlike quality of Pisces season. So it's leaving many people feeling very ungrounded, but also leaving people feeling as though they're not seeing the fruits of their labor. Yours is the only upright card within the Pentacles, and ironically, it is still not even ironically, it is still in some ways an unfavorable Pentacles card. However, that said, what's really nice to see, Capricorn, is your ability to be a pragmatist and to be practical and realistic, being able to look at things. I feel that in part, this is where this dissonance is being created with people with moving into Pisces season, because they're having to face up to some of the harsh realities of things, or wondering, oh, can I carry on doing this? Can I keep enduring this? Whereas you are looking at things much more factually and being able to go, okay, this might not be working out in quite the way that I'd hoped. Yes, this isn't perhaps as profitable, and profitable doesn't necessarily always have to mean about financially profitable, although that may be part of it. It's more profitable in terms of what am I putting in versus what am I getting out, and that feeling there being a discrepancy between those two aspects. But what's really nice to see is you moving into this Two of Swords energy, this moon in Gemini energy, which is in some ways uncertainty. Sometimes the moon can represent darkness, and I don't mean darkness as in something untoward. I mean it more in terms of, well, I can't necessarily see the way through, particularly with the blindfold here. But it's this Five of Pentacles energy is forcing you to look at things and weigh up options and move away from this ambivalence that the Two of Swords can sometimes represent. Probably why this Seven of Cups energy is coming up for you in reverse, because there is some clarity, and that clarity is about you moving away from what isn't working rather than moving towards what is working. Obviously that will happen, but it's not that, oh, I've got all of this abundance, I want more of that, I'm going to move towards it. It's rather, actually, this isn't working as perhaps as I'd hoped. It's not paying back. I'm not cashing in either energetically, financially, or emotionally as I'd hoped. Therefore, I'm going to have to make a choice here. That choice might feel a little bit looming. It's not perhaps an easy choice, But what's really nice to see is that your practical aspect is really paying dividends here, because you're thinking, right, I've got to change things. I don't just want to sit in this place, or indeed, at worst, just distracting myself. Because sometimes the Seven of Cups this way can talk about addiction, because it's like, oh, I want to escape reality. And it's really, really helpful that you're facing up to reality. So some of those realities might be a little bit harsh, but at least you're facing it dead on, looking it straight in the eyes and going, right, I need to do something about this. So well done, Capricorn, for really embracing that lesson. Does that reading resonate? If so, which part? Let me know in the comments below. As ever, be sure to check out your moon, rising and sun sign for a more complete reading. If you're not sure how to do that, check the pinned comments below. But other than that, have a wonderful, wonderful time, and I shall see you next week. Bye for now.